It always kind of skips at the beginning. So I'm just going to wait about 10 seconds. 9, 8, 2, 7, 4. Hey, and aloha. Welcome. How's it? The Spirit of Sports, my flagship show. This is Brother Richie coming at you live. A little past high noon, closer to high one today in the afternoon. Tuesday, October 24th, the year of our Lord 2023. NFL season in full swing. We're going to talk a bunch of NFL today. NBA season starts, couple games today. Ho hum. I did do a fantasy league, so I will have something to talk about, something to do when football's over. Keep my finger on the pulse of the NBA, but through February, we're pretty much talking football. We're pretty much talking NFL. A little bit of Beavers, a little bit of college, a little bit of baseball. Game 7 last night. Thank goodness the Cheaters lost. Fastball, slider, curve, changeup. F you. Still bitter. 2017. And Altuve, don't rip my shirt off because you know I got the little beeper thing that you're giving me fastball, curveball, like Kershaw said. It's like they knew what pitch was coming. Well, they did. And don't say it doesn't make a big difference because it makes a huge difference. Tuesday, the Spirit of Sports. We're talking life, and we are talking NFL all day, all the time. Tuesday is my stats day, my picks day, how I did, how the NFL, you run the ball, you win, you pass the ball too much, you lose. Over unders, trends, home field, turnovers versus penalties. Let's start with some fantasy football. Week 7, I do my fantasy football studs and duds and waiver wire. Let's get right into that. Travis Etienne, third game in a row with 2 touchdowns, 77 total yards, but the 2 touchdowns. Dante Foreman, Chicago, 120 total yards and 3 touchdowns coming off the bench. That guy's a league winner, bro, and I got him in 2, should have got him in all. Same thing last year. Somebody gets hurt. He's the animal. They're going to start giving the ball more and more. Gardner Minshew, 4 total touchdowns, 305 yards passing, 1 interception. Josh Downs, on the other end of that, 5 catches, 125 yards, and a TD. Mac Jones, actually, 272 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and didn't get benched. Fantasy stud, week 7. Darren Waller pops up on the list, 7 catches for 98 yards and a tud. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 17 targets, pulls in 13 of them for 102 yards. Lamar Jackson, he's coming around. I'm telling you, that offense is going to be scary good. Another fantasy football winner. 21 for 27, 357 yards, 3 touchdowns, passing, and a rushing TD thrown in. Gus the Bus, 144 total yards and a touchdown. Been waiting for that guy to come around. Just give him the ball. The Bus, baby. George Pickens, 5 catches for 107 yards. Puka Nacua, 12 targets, 8 catches, 154 yards. That toe drag, somehow he got in on that long pass and made a touchdown-saving tackle on TJ Watt. Guy's a stud. Puka Nacua. The Misadventures of Puka and Tutu, coming soon to Netflix. It's a cartoon I'm making up. Kenneth Walker III, 26 rushes, 105 yards. That guy's another winner. There's some league winners that if you picked up, got late in the draft in a trade, even off the free agency wire. Mahomes doing his usual, even better. 32 of 42, 424 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. We'll take it. And his boy Kelsey, I guess Tay must have been there because he had 12 catches for 179 yards and a touchdown against the zone defense that the San Diego LA Chargers locker room was not too happy about and did vent their frustration. I'm going to have clips one day. I'm going to have clips. I'm going to have music. I'm going to look back at these and probably laugh a little bit and say, wow, how archaic. It's like a caveman in a cave. But this is how you start, you crawl before you walk. You dribble on your mouth before you eat. You walk before you run. This is my crawling stage, and I thank you all for the support. When I hear, Richie, you're going to do it, just keep going. I'm keeping going. 6 days a week. I'm going biblical. I'm going to take Sundays off from the show. Sundays is a lot of work with the kid and watching football. I don't have to worry about a show. So I'll be 6 days a week. And, the Pauhana. I might just have a Pauhana show. What are we doing after work? 4 nights a week, get off work and sit down and see who wants to be on the show. Either here, Stevenson's library. Not here when I get off work. Back to it, A.J. Brown. 10 catches on 15 targets, 137 yards, a tud. And he becomes only the third player in NFL history with 5 games in a row of 125 plus yards. They just showed the first guy was stud still back in the 60s, and he punted. He was a Colts, I guess. He punted, receiver, punt returner, kick returner, did it all. Kirk Cousins, 35 of 45, 378 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. That was okay. Showing up and shelling. It should be shelling out, not showing out. Makes no sense. Showing up and shelling out on a Monday night. Always not been known to be the greatest in prime time, so good for you. Jordan Addison, 7 for 123 and 2 tuds. And then low key, Joshua Palmer, 5 catches, 133 yards in the loss. So those are my fantasy studs for week 7. We got some duds. What happened to Calvin Ridley? First couple weeks, you're thinking this guy's going to lead the league. Last 6 games, I think he has 9 catches or something. 4 targets, 1 catch, 5 yards. Calvin Ridley. And that offense that's scoring points. Don't understand it. Amari Cooper, PJ Walker just doesn't get him. Well, he got him the ball last week. This week, 2 catches, 22 yards. The Brian and the Bijan Robinson boys combined 8 carries, 23 yards. Brian did run in a touchdown, still only had 23 yards. I don't know why he's only getting 8 carries and Sam Howell's passing the ball 40, 50 times. Makes no sense. We talked about that yesterday. So between Brian and Bijan, they had 9 carries, 24 yards, a touchdown, and a big headache. Not on the injury report and just doesn't play. Rashad White, who's going to take over that backfield and not have Baker throwing the ball 40 times as well. 13 carries, 34 yards. Cooper Kupp, 2 catches for 29 yards. What? Come back down to earth. That is weird. When Puka went off, 12 targets. Cooper, I think, had 7 targets and 2 catches. Tell me what Pittsburgh did right. The rest of the league should copy that. Aaron Jones, 35 rushing yards, 22 receiving yards, and 0 touchdowns. That guy's, I don't know if it's injuries. He's just having a tough time getting out of the blocks. Eckler, 14 rushes for 45 yards, 1 reception, 1 yard. 1 reception for Austin Eckler. What is going on? What's going on in L.A.? The San Diego SDLA Chargers, bro. They're charging. Guy's got to go. Oh, my goodness. Joshua Kelly, he had 75 yards on 7 carries and a long touchdown. Mostert, 9 rushes, 45 yards, 1 catch for 6, so he comes back down to earth. Devontae Smith, 5 targets, 4 catches, 49 yards. That's a dud. He's kind of been a dud. He had a little bit of the drops early on. Alexander Madison, I think Akers got to take this one over. 8 carries, 39 yards, 2 catches for 3 yards, 0 touchdowns. And Keenan Allen, 9 targets, only 4 catches for 55 yards, no tuds. Those are my fantasy studs and duds for week 7. If you're looking at the waiver wire, slim pickings, depending on the size of your league. Josh Downs for Indy had a couple good games. We'll see. Minshew got him the ball. 5 catches, 125 yards. Jalen Hyatt looking like a deep threat with the Giants. Tyrod Taylor's always been capable. Dalton Kincaid might be out there on some. He's coming around. Dawson Knox looks like he's going into surgery might be 4 to 6 weeks out. I like that pickup. Demario Douglas for New England. Could this be a resurgence for the Patriots? Don't count out Bill. I highly doubt it, but it's possible. Bobo and Smith and Jigba for Seattle, both getting some play. They're probably on some waiver wires. Brandon Powell, Minnesota. Trade deadline coming up. They might make a move for receiver, but looks like Justin Jackson's is going to be, JJ's, Justin Jefferson. Looks like he's out another couple weeks. Who knows? Number one pick. When number one pick goes down, that hurts. Josh Palmer, if he's out there, he's getting more play. Cade Otton, he had a touchdown earlier. He's averaging about 4 catches a game. Pierre Strong with Ford hurt this week. So Kareem Hunt and Pierre Strong will be sharing that backfield, and he's been looking pretty good. Tyler Algier, take a shot at him. He might be out there. Kendrick Bourne. So Kendrick Bourne and Demario Douglas, 2 Patriots that you might look into. And that's my studs and duds on my frozen. Emmy doesn't know. She doesn't like me using this or her room. Her room is my makeshift studio. She doesn't even use her room. She said, you can't use my room. You can't use my, I need it for school. Well, guess what? What you don't know don't hurt you. Frozen, baby. Moving on. This week, there's quite a bit more home field advantage than has been. The home teams were right around 500 straight up coming into this week, and they were under 500 against the spread. 47 and 46 coming into this week. They went 9-4, the home team. So going to be a little more home field advantage. 56 and 50, the home team straight up this year. Home field versus the spread went 10-3 this week. Puts them over 500 on the year, 52, 48, and 6. So home field starting to take its toll, starting to be a factor. Good to see. Turnover battle. This week is I think it's the turnovers meant the least. The team that won the turnover battle was only 6, 5, and 2. Most of the season they've been 10-3, 11-3, 10-2. 8-4 was the worst turnover battle. But it's still well over 70% of the time you win the turnover battle, you win the game. Don't turn the ball over. Run the ball. We'll get right into that. Penalties have not been a big deal. The team with the least amount of penalties has actually gone 26, 40, and 12. So you can have penalties and win a game. You can't have turnovers. You can't throw the ball 65% of the time. This week, the winning teams won the penalty battle 6, 5, and 2. 52.5% pass to run ratio. The winning teams threw the ball 53% of the time. Losing teams 63% of the time. And it's week in, week out, all the same. Week in, week out. You run the ball 50 to 52% of the time. 48 to 50% of the time you run the ball. Only pass 52%, you win the game. If you only run the ball 40%, 35%, and you pass 60 to 65%, you lose the game. Figure it out. Don't turn the ball over. Run the ball. Eat the clock. Keep your defense and their offense off the field. Control the game. Run the ball. Set hut. I don't know why it's so hard. Don't turn the ball over and run the ball and you win in the NFL. Figure it out. $10 million plus. You got 8 coaches. Figure it out. Sam Howell shouldn't be throwing 55 times, or Minshew. Who else threw it? Oh, Derek Carr threw it 55 times. Kamara ran it 16 or something. Look, you had your Vegas duo, Hoyer and O'Connell, threw it 45 times and they ran it 14 times. You got Josh Jacobs. This feels like backseat quarterback. Irritating, bro. Sam Howell, 42 passes, 18 runs. Baker Mayfield, 42 passes and only 18 rushes. No wonder Rachaad White sucks. Maybe give him the ball. Oh my goodness. Goff threw it 53 times. I know you're down 14-0. You got Gibbs. Run the frickin' ball. The guy he had 14 runs, 53 passes. No wonder you're getting your ass beat. Just because you fall down a couple touchdowns, you don't have to change your whole game script. Backseat quarterback on a Tuesday. So yeah, you 50-50 run, win. 35-65 run, lose. Fucking over it. Excuse my language. I'm over it. This is what. Maybe I should send this to some front offices. Every week I do this. Every week nobody listens. One day you're going to listen. Brah. Pathetic. For you gamblers out there, the under is hitting almost 60% on the season. Over-under games. The overs hit 40 times. Unders hit 63 times. There's been 3 pushes. Maybe just go under. I don't know. I don't know what's up with offenses. All the rules are in their favor. It's really hard to play defense in the NFL, but maybe they're just overvaluing the points. Vegas. But they were 5-7-1 this week. Over went 5, 7 unders. Last week, only 2 overs, 12 unders, and a tie. We had 4-11-1. We had 4-12 week 1. So the under's the big pick, seems to me. Let's see. JFK versus a spread versus me. Let me get there. Didn't quite have that. Didn't have that lined up. Here we go. JFK, where I flip a $50. And I'm doing it all season just to see if it's a coin toss. Maybe it is. JFK went 9-4 straight up, 7-6 against the spread. JFK did better than me. I was 7-6 straight up and 6-7 against the spread. I'll have to do Emalani. 9-4, 7-6, 7-6, 6-7. Let me write this in. 9-4, JFK. 7-6 versus the spread. I was 7-6 straight up and 6-7 versus the spread. That puts me at 60, 43-3 versus the spread this year, but it's come down. I was really good first 3 weeks. Then I went 8-7, 7-7, 5-10, and 6-7. It's getting tough. Me straight up, I'm 70-36. 70-36. So I'm batting about 68% on the straight up. JFK. He's 51-55 straight up, and I need to do the first couple weeks versus the spread. So coin toss. It's a little better if you do know, but some weeks just maybe. I think the coin toss would have won my pick 'em pool. 27 people, $10 a week. I run it. CBS Sports. JFK would have won that pool this week on just tossing a coin. Yeah. Over under, home field. Don't turn the ball over. Don't turn the ball over and run the ball, you win in the NFL. I'm sure it's the same in college. I'll keep all those stats. Let's move on. Nick Wright went 1-2. He's 7-14 on his 3-pick. It's pretty terrible. 33%. I just fell under. I went 1-3, 0-4, and 1-3 in the last 2 weeks after going 4-0. Week 5. Now I am 13, 14, and 1 in my 4-pack. That's 28 times 7. Yep, 7 times 4 is 28. 13, 14, and 1. Just fell under 500 for the first time this season. Try to get that back up. And the herd, he went 5-0 and 4-1 in weeks 4 and 5. Now he went 2-3 the last 2 weeks. He is 16, 17, and 2. So me and Colin are right about even in blowing Nick Wright. And he always, I'm going to turn it around this week, and here's how you do it. You bet on this and this, and you go 0-3. And, there's no ramifications. I'm here. I'll be here next year. I'll be here in the off season. I'll be here for basketball. I'll be doing this all the time. When do these guys that have a show and getting paid and they're on TV and millions of listeners and watchers and followers, when do they get called out? When are they held accountable? Brother Richie is here. Stay with me, people. This is how I make my name. And I am saying, sometimes I say maybe I'm not better, but I know what's not right. And I am better in some things. I think that's going to be about it. Oh, let's go to the panic room. Panic room over here. It's the Scourge, whatever that movie is, and there's no laws. And if you're not a pillager, and if you're not a rebel and a pirate, you get in the panic room. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 8 teams in the panic room. We're starting out Buffalo. 2 losses in a row. Jacksonville, England, kind of understandable. At New England, many of us, including myself, thought the worst team in the NFL lose. You've been outscored 23-0 in the first quarter in the last 3 games. Digging yourself holes that you can't get out of. I don't understand it. I know Milano's a huge loss and Davis and the defense, but the offense, there's no excuse. Can't get a running game going. Defensive head coach, 6 years, can't get a running game going. I put it on defensive coach. They don't work. That guy, your window's closing, bro. Carolina, you had a bye, but you're staying in 5th week in a row. Green Bay making your 2nd trip in. Panic room. What's happening at quarterback? Can't beat Denver off a bye. That's really, really not good. I had him as one of my 4-packs. Thanks a lot. Go down and kick a field goal when you get the ball back with 3 minutes left. That's what we all said about Jordan Love. What's going to happen? Looking pretty good. Preseason's preseason, bro. What happens when you're down 2 points and you get the ball with 2.5 minutes left? What happens? You throw a pick. Raiders, 2nd trip in. I don't see them leaving anytime soon. Grab the barbecue. Grab your mat. Grab your sleeping bag. You're terrible. I don't know how you have 3 wins on the season. That guy's probably got to go too. New Orleans, 2nd weekend. Quarterback's bitching out your favorite target, and then he just got arrested for reckless driving. Do I put San Fran 2 losses in a row? Best team in the league to question marks? I'm going to leave them knocking on the door, looking over their shoulder, though. They're not out on the streets. They're not marauding. Tampa Bay, firmly in Baker. Why are you throwing 44 times? Why are you making dumb mistakes still? Why isn't Brian Robinson getting the ball 20 times? Eric Bieniemy? No. Whoever your OC is. I don't even know. Defensive coach. Washington, your 2nd trip in. Was that Sweat? One of the guys is pissed about it. So who's coming out? Chicago, you got out. Denver, you got out after 6 weeks. Did I? No, Chargers got to be. Oh, sorry, guys. Chargers, you're firmly in there. Second week in a row. Just looking terrible. Defensive coach. Defensive coach. Imagine that. We let the Pats out. They'd been in 3 weeks in a row. Let the Giants out. They had been in 3 weeks in a row. You get a win, you're out of the panic room. Period. So Buffalo, Carolina, Green Bay, Las Vegas, New Orleans, Tampa Bay, Washington, and the Chargers. Woo! Wee, wah, wah, wah. Get in there. Lock the door. The Marauders are coming. They're going to pillage. They're going to steal. And you're in there and bring your can opener. And maybe you get out next week and maybe not. Okay, brothers and sisters, I'm going to Helion. This is Brother Richie, the Spirit of Sports, at NotPods on my YouTube station, pushing 100 subscribers. Thank you so much. I know hardly anybody's watching, and I don't care right now. We'll look back on this and say, wow, look at that. I got High Five Kitty. I got my face on that little thing where you go like that. I got the brain. Got some artwork. Three of them are my baby girls, and one is mine. Can you tell the difference? I got best golf courses in the world, and I got my Go Beavs, and I got my Go Beavers. And this is Brother Richie. Love yourself. Love everyone. Be better. I'm working on it. Let's all work on it. We're all in this together. Hui ho.